Screens.
Go. Yeah. Direct it, make it. Go.
Life.
Yeah. So your jobs.
Today we will be announcing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our let's just to take a moment and think
Speak
about the
on
number
it, Chloe.
500,
Speak on it. Speak
right?
on it. Mm-hmm.
500. That's like I don't have anything profound to say other than the fact that that's 500 jobs 500 opportunities that have now been given to those available, willing, and ready participants and alums of RRFC.
Yeah.
And I think that's a wonderful thing.
Definitely. I mean, and that's all the way from LA to New York.
Yeah.
We've seen jobs come in almost everywhere in between, right?
We totally have.
And we've had a couple of shows where folks have been tuning in even outside of the States, and were wondering if we had any jobs in those specific
Abroad,
areas.
yeah.
Now we're hoping to be able to grow to that eventually and bring worldwide jobs and opportunities, and hopefully we can get there someday.
I have faith that we can. I think that we can. I know that we can.
Yeah. So how was your week?
It's great.
You've been. Let's talk about the show you have coming up.
Yes.
Because I want to get a ticket. Anybody in the LA area, I want you to tune into this because you might be able to see Cloie rocking live. You know.
This is the thing. So, this is the Rodgers and Hammerstein, Oklahoma, which is a very, very classic musical, but they have taken a very risky approach to it, which is kind of wonderful.
Risque?
Risque.
Okay.
They are painting it in a more historically accurate way, which reflects the diversity of the location and the time and how that changes the story. And it's 3D theatricals. We're going to be performing at the Redondo Performing Arts Center, as well as the Cerritos Performing Arts Center. And we open this Saturday, and we close July 9th.
Okay. Now, what's the time period for this?
Sure. So it's like early 20th century.
All
of the corsets.
I love time period, like whether it's a movie or I just love to see like that whole. It makes me, every time I see something that was done that long ago, makes me wish I was in that environment, dressing really, like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so.
I mean, this is coming off of long after the gold rush, but not that long after the Civil War and all like that is when it is set, and it just kind of gives new meaning to an old story that people are probably mainly like, it's Oklahoma, you know, so.
That's dope. Well, I'm definitely getting my ticket because I want to come see you jam live and do your thing.
Thank you.
So I will be there, Cloie.
Thank you.
Another important thing, we want to get you guys going on your questions because we will have a Q&A towards the end of the show, so we'll make sure me and Cloie can knock that down for you guys. What else?
And the chat. Just make sure you got the chat. Yeah, that ties
there
into
you go.
the questions.
Bam! See how the graphics just pop up like that?
It's in
My
the
man
upper
Howie on the dials.
The upper right hand screen. Get your Q&A because it's happening. Life is not waiting for you. This is what we call Monday movement.
And we're going to move quick this show. So before we get into these jobs, Cloie, go on and tell them what they need to have in place.
You need your pens, your pencils, your texting device, your texting thumbs, whatever you would like to use, as well as a positive attitude.
Oh, yes. Always need a positive attitude. Always. That's mandatory. That's a must. So with that being said, now that you got your tools, your device, however you take down information these days, could be different. I don't know. I know it's different.
It's very different.
We're going to jump into our first grind up of the day. Here we go, folks. First grind up of the day.
I love this one.
Publicity assistant in Los Angeles, California. This is interesting. We've never had this type of
We sure haven't.
job
But this
placement.
is a very important job, especially
So publicity assistant provides support for the vice president and other executives at film production company. coordinate staff meetings and press events, interact with media relations management and staff as well as others, administrative staff, interact with consumer and trade press as well as other media outlets. Now this sounds like there's a lot of communication going on, right? There's a lot of, you're speaking with a lot of folks, you're interacting with a lot of folks, so you want to make sure you have that type of personality.
Yeah.
I think the quickest way to figure that out is to actually ask yourself. Maybe ask some of your friends, like, "Yo, am I very engaging? Like, do I interact well? You know what I'm saying? Do I know how to talk to folks?" Because
to interact well with others.
yeah, you need to have that on lock when you apply for this job, because it's, you know, you're dealing with people at a high level, high elevation. You're dealing with consumers.
You're also dealing with
management.
people's images.
Yes.
You know, and in the world as it is right now, and that media moves so quickly because of the internet and social media, you can't let things take wind, because you can't come back.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
It's true. Absolutely. So again, that was in Los Angeles, California. So that was our first grind up. Chloe, what do we have before we get into the next grind up?
So before we get into our next grind up, we do have, of course, our weekly newsletter where we get to celebrate not only job opportunities, but the successes of our alums and our current students. And today we are highlighting Kamal Erdem, or DJ Accenzo, who is a Recording Connection student out of San Diego, and he's gone from an EDM artist and lover and DJ and a producer, and he actually recently performed at Coachella.
Yeah, his career is actually taking off. He's he's got over 100,000 followers, and again, folks, he's from the RRFC. And
and we're going to have more about him. And the fun thing about his Coachella gig is that it actually came through the Recording Connection Student Services advisor, Nelson Silvera.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah, so, and to top that off, we're actually looking to have him on next week's show at Roland. And I would love to put a DJ 808 in front of this cat and
Just go to town
and let him go to town, you know. For me, it's always fun talking to DJs. It's always fun to have them on the show, because there's so much that goes into the art of DJing. And, you know, with technology moving as fast as it has, everybody uses it differently.
They do, and I think it'll also be interesting to see it used on a different side, on more of the EDM side, because that's a very real thing, you know? That's the end of what I was going to say. But check out more. Check out more DJ Accenzo, a.k.a. Kamal Erdem, coming to you later today.
Yeah, and we will have him on next week's show, whether it's in the house or via computer, camera. You know,
Technology is
Technology,
amazing.
right.
It is amazing these days.
And that being said, we're moving on to grind op number 2. Grind op number 2 is in the field of cameraman. This is in New York, New York. Minimum 2 years of experience in TV or film-based camera work, okay? Knowledge of a variety of cameras and able to think of feet to select the right camera at the right time is a must. Must have the ability to be discreet and organized and a team player. So Chloe, I'm going to ask you, what do you see in this grind up as far as just the details, the position itself as being a cameraman?
I think that you need to know your lenses in terms of.
Hello.
I think that because in lens discussion is like a whole other topic, because you're not only talking about like look, you're also talking about a bunch of math. You're talking about like just all of these very, very technical things. So the fact that they do say 2 years experience, I would even venture to say more.
Right.
Because yes, know the cameras, because every camera has a different look. But you put specific lenses on a different camera, and that changes the look even more. So you need to know all of that stuff. I love the fact that they say must have the ability to be discreet and an organized team leader, because that also, or team player, excuse me, because that also makes me think, okay, you could be working with some high profile folks.
Absolutely.
Or, you know, like in some situations that do require discretion. So, yeah, this is not for a newbie.
Definitely not for a newbie, and I believe they asked for 2 years of experience.
Sure did.
So I think that's a good thing. I think anytime we get those type of details that come in where it's actually requiring you to have some type of experiences, you know, I think that's good for our students as well at RRFC, and just the knowledge and information they get along on a daily with being enrolled and what that experience is. And something we always talk about, how whack would it be to have to go to school right now for what you're pursuing and be in a classroom and not step one foot on a film set or be in front of a camera.
You know what?
Wouldn't that be that's kind of like,
I couldn't.
it sounds so old to me, even though it still goes on in our traditional colleges and stuff. It's like,
well, but so when I started off as a teenager and I had done some stuff, and then I got into college, and so I went to college, and college was amazing. And also there was also that part that was like, except I would love to talk about these things and that actually I know happen in this world, but it's like not even a part of the discussion.
Right.
Do you know? So it's a real interesting thing that I think the real world knowledge is some of the most valuable information that you can ever get.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. On that note, look how amazing and beautiful you are today. Man, I love it.
I was thinking I look
love
like a
it.
Fraggle.
My chocolate drop.
I'm gonna receive that because I did feel like I was
receive it, honey. Receive
down a
it.
Fraggle Rock. That's what I was feeling with my
Yeah, you know, I gotta uplift you while I get moments. You know, I get moments every now and then of free time to acknowledge my lovely co-host.
Thank you. She's got a fresh shape up and haircut. I see it.
On that note, want to give a shout out to my man Kamar with Indian Team Backpack. We got a chance to actually attend an event which was World Underground, which was really dope because it was primarily just the hip hop culture and cats coming together to rhyme, battle each other, and win a deal. Right? What was the take from that?
Was the fact that they got to get some music produced.
Mm-hmm.
But what was also like a stroke of fortune and luck is that we got to talk to Tarek El-Gendi, who is an actual recording student out of Oakland. We talked about him a little bit, but we have a video of what we got to say.
Oh, dope!
We totally have a video of it. So I feel like now's a great time to.
Man, let's cut to it.
Can we
We're
get
here
it?
hanging with man Tarek. Really cool. This is actually my hip-hop culture. It feels really good to kind of be at home here in LA.
You might have come home.
We're coming home. One of the things we want to do today, exclusively for Connected, is a series we want to call Tell Your Story. You know, just from being with a real mentor, cool versus going to a 4-year.
Yeah, like the Art Institute.
And also what brought you to.
I started out writing poetry, like hella long ago when I was a kid. So I got interested in music from poetry. From then on, I was like, all right, well, if I'm a writer, I'm gonna have to develop both sides of the sound. So I was like, all right, if I want to take on audio engineering, what's the best way to do it?
Right.
Now you can go online and do your own research, but I'm like, probably dealing with a professional in a one-on-one like circumstance or situation would probably benefit me more. And I found the connection. Luckily, they hooked me up with David Hughes in China Studio in Oakland, and we've been working together ever since, and it's been great.
We talk about this to folks who are coming out of high school looking. First thing they ask, how much does it cost?
Yes.
Right? And a huge thing that we like to talk about is at the end of the day, it doesn't put you nowhere near the debt of what some of these universities and colleges.
Like a 4-year college debt.
Yeah.
It's not even a comparison. Plus, you guys do a year of job placement after.
Yeah.
So you get like an opportunity to 1, meet people, 2, be in a mentorship program where you learn good information, and 3, you're pretty much guaranteed a job as long as you're proficient in what you do. Just being in the studio is real world experience. So this gives you the opportunity to be immersed in the environment, watching like what it's like. You get to know if you like hanging out at the studio for 8 hours.
Right.
And if you like, being there for 10 hours. Because some days you're going to be at the studio all day. And you're going to miss meals. And you're not, you know what I mean? And if you like that and you're willing to dedicate it, you find out.
Yeah.
Which you don't find out. And like if you go to 4 years of school and then find out you don't like it. And then what are you going to do?
And you got this loaded debt. What would be the one piece you would tell somebody looking to engage in film, music, recording? What would thing you would tell them that would make them really think about why not going the traditional route, getting a student loan and all those various things, and actually entertaining the idea of coming to the RRFC?
The biggest thing for me is like if you're passionate about it, then do it. And like commit yourself fully.
Man, Terry, thank you, man. And of course, this is brought to you by Connected. Stay tuned.
The Tell Your Story series, because I think it's extremely important for, students of the RFC to kind of just tell their story for other cats coming out of high school looking to pursue, you know, these different careers in film, radio,
Absolutely.
and what have you. What other better person to tell it than them? You know what I'm saying?
The person that's living it.
Yeah, a lot of times when I've had the chance to talk to these cats, it's like, well, how much is it? Or, you know, well, you know, what's different about it, or what's the experience, and, you know, to be able to kind of dive through those questions and have, you know, actual student tellers so much more beneficial. I
Yeah,
think.
because there's nothing that you could say. There's at a certain point, it's like, great, the thank you, because there's nothing more to add.
Hey, exactly.
You know?
So we're gonna move on to grind op number 3, I believe.
Yeah.
Chloe, I'm gonna let you have this one.
Oh, goody. So this is for an ESPN events coordinator out of Atlanta, Georgia. And the responsibilities include providing on-site operational support at various events, a minimum of 1 year experience in a professional setting, and to assist with all of the new and game operations for events. And this is coming to you out of Atlanta, Georgia. I think that's
Sounds
the end of
pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah.
That
I
sounds
don't know.
pretty
I don't
basic.
know what else I would add.
Yeah.
With ESPN.
Yeah,
That sounds
maybe
awesome.
being a a sports lover to some degree.
Well,
or,
yeah.
you know, something like that maybe.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's pretty simple. I think
Mhm.
that's a good one for anybody who's out in Atlanta,
For
Georgia,
sure.
to apply for.
I will also say that this leaves room for you to get in and sprinkle your magic on it. Like this because it is a little vague, you can get in there and perhaps shape the job to what it is that you do best in
Yeah.
this world, of course.
Agreed.
But leaves room for growth and opportunity.
Tis agreed, honey.
That's
Tis
what I'm gonna
agreed.
add.
We're going to talk about our Connected app at this point.
Here we are.
If we can get a slide, let these folks know what they could be using.
Because it's a thing.
If they're out there on the hunt. Now, this is for those of you who are actually out there on the hunt. You know, not just waiting on a Monday to see us, but you got Tuesday through Sunday. It's a great app for you to use in the meantime to connect with other creators. You know, figure out who's out there who's maybe working on something that you can possibly partake in, whether it's music, film, radio, culinary. The great thing, too, is this will actually find what's close to you.
Absolutely. Love some geo-based stuff.
Geo-based, honey.
Geo-based. You know, and the other great thing is because we get a lot of viewers that want to know, hey, how do I network? How do I this, that, and the other? This is the perfect way to do it. Take
Yes.
out the middleman and get into the life and the gigs that you want.
Absolutely. And get going. Again, it's on Facebook's Messenger. All you got to do is type in the link, the Connected app, which is Connected, and you will see it. It will come up. It will pop up. And just engage with it. You know, I think this is another great vehicle for creators to connect with others. I think it's all about the connectivity. But again, you got to be proactive.
Absolutely.
And by the way, we actually get emails in as people begin to use the app and insert their name, their information. It's a good way for us to understand how well it's being effective. So we encourage you guys to get out there, get connected, get on that app. As you see, the link is down there right now. And get busy, man. Get busy.
Because we know we sure are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, here's the competition. Can you be busier than us? And I'm not talking about I'm talking about, no, like legit busy.
Get busy.
Getting things done.
Yeah. And with that being said, we're going to get things done with moving on to grind op number 4. Here we go, folks. Grind op number 4 is in the field of Discovery Media. Discover Media. Audio engineer.
Madison, Wisconsin. That's like Cheeseland.
Madison, Wisconsin. Okay, here we go. Experience in Pro Tools and other digital recording devices. Experience in all phases of audio design and production. Excellent organizational and time management skills. Now, we got a lot of audio engineers out here in Cali. I'm not sure what we got in Madison, Wisconsin, but I feel like this language is very self-explanatory for those engineers in Wisconsin. So, you know, definitely apply for it. I mean, why not?
It
It
totally
sounds cool.
Again, no, very broad definitions of what the job requirements would be. So room for your magic.
Room, and there's always room for magic.
There's always room for
Hey,
magic.
get my David Copperfield on. Yeah.
Or my Harry Potter.
Hey, presto.
Wingardium Leviosa!
She's going into zone.
Sorry,
guys.
sorry,
She's
sorry.
going into
Continue,
zone.
continue.
So, Chloe, I'm going to let you knock down grind out 5. This is our 5th grind out
Great.
of the day.
Thank you. Grind out number 5 is for an audio engineer / soundtrack artist, and this is Cambridge, Massachusetts. It is an unpaid internship with a minimum of 25 hours a week. It is a 4-month commitment or summer. You're going to be doing sound design, audio engineering, or composing experience is preferred, and experience with either Pro Tools or Adobe Audition. That's hard to say together. Or Adobe Audition. And again, that's coming to you out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. I love the fact that they actually, it is an unpaid internship, and they make no bones about that. So that means you're going to be getting some on-the-ground experience.
Which is always currency. Always equate, anytime you're getting experience like that, just equate it as currency. Sure. And, it's in real time.
4 months. It's 4 months. You get. And a lot of times people forget that sometimes these internships can lead to job opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think too, by the time you get in there, if you're effective within an intern setting and you do what you're supposed to do, 9 times out of 10 they actually end up hiring you because they've been able to see your work ethic, showing up on time, how you work with other people, how you execute. It's like a great way of vetting. What they show up on time and those kind of things. And cool, gotcha.
Yeah, and sometimes
you work
like 4 months.
Absolutely, and they don't want to lose you to anybody.
Exactly.
So we do have some additional grind. We do have the School of Hard Knocks video that we have.
So jam packed.
We've been jam packed.
I think that because we have perfect because it explains what further ado. Please roll.
The reality, your skill or your craft at a height that reminds you, like, look, there's people who are outworking you, and I think is that thing that will always it's not for the weak-minded. There's that kind of makes you say, ouch, ooh, yeah, it was a tough dose, but it's a form of keeping you humble, and things that you think you're good enough, and then you realize you're not good enough, or you're not really that dope, or you're not really that great, and there's a lot of times you'll find there's people in the School of Hard Knocks that will remind you of how much more you have to learn. And, I think for me, one of the mentalities I developed early on is the mop the floor mentality, meaning I'm going to mop this floor hoping that one day, the guy who walks in the room, can see something in me that allows him to think I'm more than just a good mopper, that I do have some ability. But at that moment, he'll give me an opportunity and I'll be able to deliver. And you only learn those things by, really being a fly on the wall and knowing when to say something, knowing when not to. Those are the dynamics of the School of Hard Knocks, because you're not going to learn them in a classroom. You're not going to learn it in, on an online course or, in a role that exists outside of the real world, which is these real environments. This School of Hard Knocks, are usually 9 times out of 10 a tough lesson, but I always think it's better to learn that early on than to learn it when you're actually on the job and you learn it then, because 9 times out of 10 those are the things that get you fired. Bam! And there you have it. That is another edition of our School of Hard Knocks. And like you said,
simple.
We've been jammed with the packed out, so we haven't been able to show our. And to me, School of Hard Knocks could never be too brutal enough. I feel like, everybody kind of, well, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of folks on the come up feel like they're ready for prime time. They're ready to get in and just go. And it's like, hold on.
Slow your roll.
You don't want to blow. So always happy to be able to showcase our School of Hard Knocks video footage. 5 additional grind ops. Let's let them know where they can find these and what they even are.
Jobs. So this week we have coming to you out of Irvine, California, a recording gig for an audio engineer at Blizzard. And we're also recording an audio engineer at NBC Universal in Atlanta. In the field of culinary, we have a prep cook in Napa, California. Shout out to All That Wine. Also in the field of culinary, a ramen chef. And a kitchen cook in LA. Shout out to the raw men. And then in radio, we have part-time on-air talent in Cleveland, Ohio. And of course, these jobs are only available to those registered. To find them, you can go to rrfedu.com/connected/latest. There's also the graphic there. And these are jobs that are not going to everybody, you know. But this also rounds out our first 500.
Yeah, first 500.
500 jobs right there. Bam.
You're on Connected.
Yeah, that's
No Craigslist, no none of that. You're on Connected, folks.
It's Connected, where we are.
Where we are.
Which is the perfect opportunity to open it up for a Q&A.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get to some questions. Let me get my device out and see who's
Not being rude.
see who's
just
tuning
being
in and what we
advanced.
got.
Oh, here's one. Matt P. from Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, what up?
He wants to know, how do I get started working as an editor in film?
Huh.
Well, there's a
couple
lot of different
questions,
ways
yeah.
to do that. One is if you know any director people, or if you know, like, in the indie world, people that maybe don't have any money but need some good editing. There's that. There's also friends who are like recommendation. I know is a big way that people do it a lot of the time.
That too.
Also the Facebook app. Not for nothing.
Definitely that too.
You know, because people can be looking for an editor, and that's the perfect way to cut out any sort of search on. Oh, do you know what I mean? Like to make it more accessible. These people need an editor. You edit, bam, go together. And I think that a lot of that is word of mouth, and of course, reel. To have one that showcases how you edit, what it is that you do. But I would definitely steer you towards that, towards the Facebook app, the Connected Facebook app.
Bam. What else we got, Chloe?
We got Danny from Worcester. People probably always do that, Danny.
Worcester.
Sorry, Worcester, Massachusetts. Wants to know, do all audio engineers do the same things, or are there different specializations you can do? And that he's saying that the internship in Cambridge sounds awesome.
Oh, okay, dope. So see how that works out?
Are there different specializations?
You know, I think there's an overall well-rounded, I'm not going to say techniques, but practices that come with engineering, so that you don't just focus on one as an engineer, but you kind of, most engineers, whether you'll hear sometimes, like, some engineers are great at tracking live instrumentation. Other engineers are great at EQing and getting the sonics really good. But at the end of the day, as an engineer, you want to encompass all those traits. And then you want to learn how to mix sound, so that the projects you engineer, you can also mix. So those are some things to definitely focus on. I think as an engineer, you want to make sure you can kind of have an array under your belt as far as what you can do and what you're great at. So I wouldn't say it's just one specific thing. You know, it's a variety of those things.
And so now we got Trevor from LA. Wants to know, do you have a favorite touchpad controller?
Touchpad controller. The only controllers I rock with are like the DJ808, which is a DJ controller. As far as production, I'm still on my 3000, MPC 3000.
He says with confidence.
Super confidence.
Say it again with super confidence.
Super confident. Super. We got Ryan from
Taos,
New Mexico. What's the difference between an apprenticeship and an internship? Break that down. Let them know.
So basically, an apprenticeship is, if you think of it as like you're on the both things are on the come up, right? An apprenticeship is kind of like a shadow opportunity to work your way up to get yourself known. An internship can be paid or unpaid. Usually they are unpaid, and they, you know, the time period is a little bit less tending to be. Apprenticeships tend to be a little bit longer time periods. I always think of I'm going to nerd out for a moment, but that's fine. Like back in the day, right? You'd have like a blacksmith, somebody that would make swords and stuff, would have an apprentice who would do all the grunt work, but would also be learning the trade of this master craftsman, right? So that is what an apprenticeship is. It's like becoming a protege of a person, and whereas an internship is the person coming in on a different level, still to learn the things, but with in a more compact point of time, if that
Gotcha.
makes any sense.
Gotcha.
That's why I think of the difference.
Great breakdown, honey. Now we got John from Austin, Texas. Been writing the script. When do I know it's good enough to send to an agent?
Well, here's the thing with that is this is what I think you know and you know. Questions have been answered or artfully unanswered.
Right.
I would say that to do readings of it and to have friends read it separately.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah. How many times has it been read by somebody
Absolutely.
You know,
have all of the... Because in scripts and movies, it's not that you need to leave thinking like things have been wrapped up in a perfect box, right?
Right.
But if they have not, has it been done in a way that just doesn't feel like a hole in your script?
Q&A, honey.
It's the hair.
We've got a lot of film questions. We got Brianna from Ocean City. Is it better to shop just a script or to shoot a scene from it first?
I think both are great. And both are very, very different approaches to it. You can't have too much when you're trying to get your stuff sold. And also, what if in shooting a scene and having some sort of a teaser or a trailer can spark interest enough to get you some money to shoot the thing?
Right.
Right?
Right.
I think that also if you're starting out, the more you can have, the better.
Right.
If you are shopping the script, I would also encourage you to have a very good director and a very good DP, which is a director of photography, that you are all in line with the same vision so that whatever you do shoot is definitely serving the story and furthering the story.
Nice. We have Lilia from Tyler, Texas. I'm 16 and want to work in sound but don't know what exactly. Help. Actually, Howie, if we can we get the RRFC link? Because I'd actually like Lilia to maybe go through what we offer on the Recording Radio Film Connection site. I think that'll really help you figure out your question. To me, you know, if you want to work in sound, there's a variety of ways you can do that, whether it's engineering, recording, but this can definitely kind of get you thinking along those lines and hopefully figuring it out. So I hope that helps you with that.
We got Coke from Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Hi, I want to record my own band. Do your programs help with that?
It's a good question. Now, our relationships definitely can help you with that. And at the Recording Radio Film Connection, we have tons of those. But I would actually suggest you actually use the IZConnected Facebook app, because that could be really cool for you and could help you in wanting to record your own band. Some of the things to think about with recording your own band, you want to make sure you guys are well, you're paying for studio time, that you're not burning through time with trying to work out the kinks. So you definitely want to huddle up as a band and kind of just go through the songs, whatever it is you're recording, just to get it dialed in just from the musicianship aspect, so that you guys can pretty much get in there and not have to take 100 takes to get to the right take. So definitely something to think about there.
And many RC students have recorded their own bands because they have them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So you definitely should maybe go through the RRFC website and see how we can possibly help you guys there.
We have Jesse from Frankfort, Kentucky. Says, I'm starting and I have Asperger's syndrome. Should I tell my mentor? Sure, why not? So many artists are on, for one, who's one of the most famous playwrights of our time. I mean, yes, somebody's going to have something to say about that. I don't care. I'm saying it. He's a very prolific playwright, has Asperger's, and so do a lot of other people, and it's known. So please, wave your flag. Let them know.
Wave it, man. Wave it.
And also to help in the whole thing of communication, so people know how to communicate with you, and so how you know how to communicate.
From La Mesa, California, what's the most employable career or crew position in film, period?
A PA.
I was just going to say PA.
PA.
Production assistant.
Absolutely, because no BS is that there's always a bunch of work that other people don't want to do, and they'll put it on a PA, or people that they don't want to deal with. Yeah. But it's a great way to make your bones.
Yeah. We got Igor from Bangor, Maine. Great show with Battle Cat last time. Do most DJs plan out their whole set? Should I start on vinyl, or that would be rolling DJ 808? But thank you. I'm happy you enjoyed the show, man, and thank you for tuning in. You know, most DJs, it depends because, you know, it depends on what gig you're getting ready to jump into. I think as a DJ, if it's a pretty much straightforward type of gig, you know, you're going into where you're not so much rocking a party, you're more or less just the ambiance music, you can definitely put a crate together for that. But I would say when you go into a party or a club, I would say it's kind of dangerous to put a set together because you never know what the crowd is, and you got to be able to kind of escape out of that crate that you've created, because a lot of times when you create a crate, your mind gets locked into that. So
because it has to, though, because like this is what you have to work with.
I would say, you know, you set up a couple of crates, you know, that ranges from a span of, you know, hot records right now, the classics that always get the party moving. So that way you can kind of bounce and forth from crate to crate, rather than getting stuck in one kind of set list that is your go-to set list that you think is going to work for that night, because it may not. And I've seen DJs kind of panic.
Yeah.
So something to think about. Let me see. What was your other question? As far as your how should you start? I think for DJs, it's always good to experience the touch of vinyl, to understand just the dynamics, because it to go from just the controller side then to vinyl is a very scary thing. But I think it's good for you to kind of get used to the touch of vinyl and the resistance of an actual platter. So when you get into the control world, it's an easy transition. But you know, some people might just want to jump into the controller world and go from there. So, you know, it just kind of depends where you're at with your DJing and how much of it you actually understand from a technical aspect. So, just some things to think about. I hope that answered your questions, bro.
It answered mine.
Who else do we got? We got Zoe in from Madison, Wisconsin. Chloe, what is the NDA? Or what is an NDA? Heard you mention it before. We love you guys. We love you too, honey. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Zoe and Chloe.
Zoe in the house. Zoe in the house. Zoe in the house. Personal shout out. Zoe in the house. Okay, cool.
I have a cousin. I have a cousin that to this day, all the years I've been alive, continues to call me Zoe because he forgets that it's not. So I have a special kinship with that name. Shout out, Zoe. What are we talking about? Oh, NDA. Yeah. An NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. And oftentimes for larger projects, or even sometimes for smaller projects or high concept things where they don't want their ideas to get out or stolen, right? They'll have the people, basically is a contract that holds you to not discussing it. That means nowhere, because they can take legal action against you. And
you never want to.
You never want to lose the gig, but you also never want to have legal action taken
kind of like
against
a gag order, right?
Kind of.
Ball in your mouth, tie,
exactly.
You can't say nothing.
Exactly. I feel like the gag order, though, is like the back end of it. Like, the upfront would be like, hey, sign this thing. Oh, you don't want to listen.
Right.
Ball gag.
Right.
Yeah, so that's an NDA, Zoe. Hopefully that was helpful.
We have Nathan from Santa Monica, California. What's the best DAW for newbies who want to compose music, mainly hip-hop and pop? You know, I think the best DAW, you know, everybody's jumping on Ableton Live because of its functionality and the workflow. I think that's good. Also Pro Tools, which is kind of like your household, you know, recording version of what 2-inch was. I think most of the studios are Pro Tools friendly. So those are some of the DAWs that I would definitely suggest for those of you who want to compose. So shout out to Nathan for asking that question. Rich from Orlando, Florida. Okay, so how do you turn an apprenticeship into a job offer? Do I ask them for a job ahead of time or just wait for a job offer?
I think that there's no guarantee that an apprenticeship will turn into a job offer. But I think that what you can always do is like what we say here, which is to go in there and overperform. And I think that to go in ahead of time and say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm looking for a job, right? When you haven't done anything yet. To show up and be of service, that could be counterproductive. I'm not saying it is counterproductive, but I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm just saying that I find that if it were me and I'm the employer with the opportunity, if I see a person that is going above and beyond and is proactive and hungry, right? I'm already thinking about it before you even have to say it.
Gotcha.
Now, what you can do is just have a number in the back of your head of what that would look like.
Right.
So that when the time presents itself, should it, you're ready.
Ready.
So yeah, and then at a certain point in time too, I think that if you've been in an apprenticeship for a period of time, you have a track record that has been proven, and you've really excelled, I think after a couple months, whatever, then you could maybe go and say, hey, so I'm looking to turn this into a full-time or part-time, whatever it is that you're looking to have, right? And then have that discussion after you've proven yourself and after you know it's where you want to be.
Right.
So.
Great answer. Bree from NYC.
NYC.
Hey, Chloe.
Yes.
Need some girl advice.
Oh.
What job in entertainment is the best for a tall woman with a big personality and not bad looking either? Ooh,
Dang it, Bree.
Send us a connected photo. Let us highlight your
Get
beauty.
it, Bree. First of all, shout out to you and your confidence. I love it. I also love a tall woman that is not afraid to be tall, because you've got legs to the gods. Why not just revel and relish all of that height? What is the best job? You know what? There is no best. It's because wherever you are, you're going to make it the best. But if you want it to be about your personality, and I would say look into hosting. Because the thing about hosting is it's about being engaging, right?
Yeah,
it's also about connecting with other people. So it's also about how you listen when it comes to hosting. What do you love to do? Because there's definitely a way to parlay a big personality into the thing, or to just make the job that you want to have. But yeah, I think that there is no job that's going to be best for you. You're just going to shine wherever you go. So maybe, what is it that you would like to do? That's a better question. That's a follow-up if you want to pop that into the technology thing.
Last question. Frank in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Do you have any tricks for staying inspired on your own projects? You or me? Which?
Who?
You? Me? You?
We both probably have.
Yeah, I think, for me, music, I think I tend to listen to the folks that I still look up to. I'm trying to find some new inspiration, but I tend to rely on the masters that which I call the masters, which is like your DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Jay Dilla. Those are the cats I still look up to as far as just the quality and the creativeness that they put into the universe. So I use that to drive, still to this day, my inspiration. How about you, Chloe?
I think that when I need to stay inspired on my own projects, I like to collaborate with people on things, because I find that oftentimes where you can kind of build each other up, right? Yes, it could be a project that I'm working on. If it's just me on a project where I'm not able to, say, collaborate in that way, then I find a way to dig deeper into the character and try to find something undiscovered by me, But when I'm working in a collaborative sort of situation, it's great, because when I'm kind of spent, then the other person or people are still fired up. And so it's a give and take of energy. And when they find something new, then that can get me all fired up again, And then sometimes you just lose your inspiration on a specific project, and then I will put it down for a minute, unless there's a deadline, right?
Right.
But if there is no deadline, then I step away from it and let it find me again.
I like that. And I do the same thing too, where I'll kind of just allow for new windows of inspiration to become open, because I always say, even on the music side, every day is not a music day.
Nope.
Every day you can listen to music, but as far as creating it, it's sometimes it's just not there.
Sometimes, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the cycle. It's the cycle of creativity, and but yeah, I usually find my inspiration in still my heroes. So. With that being said, thank you guys for your questions. It's always fun answering questions and seeing folks who are engaging and being proactive on a Monday morning. Cloie, let's let them know where they can also find us for any of our new viewers that are tuning in.
Yes. Across the social media, we are at IZConnected. Of course, you can email us all of your goodies, connected@rrfedu.com. And to join us, you want to go to rrfedu.com/connected. And of course, to join us is how you get access to all the jobs and good stuff. We have our Facebook Messenger app, which is rrfedu.com/connected/app. Please roll the second slide.
Bam!
And it's going to apply for our jobs. You want to go to rrfedu.com/connected/latest. That's going to have all of the job opportunities that we've presented today, both during the show and the ones that are posted online. For all of our resources, you want to check out our vault at rrfedu.com/connected/vault. And of course, we have our weekly newsletter, and that is rrfedu.com/weekly report. And of course, this week you want to check it out because we will be featuring Kamal Erdem.
Yes, yes.
I dropped some.
Oh, Cloie dropped some.
I'm sorry.
You know, the great thing is because we rock live.
We do
you know,
rock live.
It's how we roll, man. It's how we roll. On that note, shout out to my connected team: Howie, Leah, Mike, Jamal, Jay, Brian,
Everybody.
and the special folks at Roland: Igor, Chris, Jay, the fam.
Everybody.
Everybody.
You say Leah?
Of course
Oh,
I said
okay.
Leah.
Just
Leah
making
gets
sure.
busy for us, man. And on another note, without them, none of this would be possible. So we definitely appreciate all of them and their work. And I love Chloe's smile because
Thank you.
it's so shining
I
bright.
made a mess over here.
You know?
I can't fix it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And on that note, we look forward to seeing you next week. We will have some special guests in the house with us at Roland, so make sure you tune in. Folks, you got Tuesday all the way to Sunday to get moving and make things happen. Make sure you apply for the jobs. Make sure you overperform and make sure you get it done. Also, too, make sure you check out the RRFC website. For those of you who are looking to get in any of these trades or any of these careers, we have it all for you, all right? So don't sleep. Chloe, look at that smile.
I'm sorry, I was sleeping.
On that note, I'm your host, DJ Iz, and Miss Chloe is in the house, always. We look forward to seeing you next week. Peace. We out.
As I was told.